So a little brief overview of the ventricles, which contain CSF, and then the flow of CSF through the ventricles, CFS being cerebrospinal fluid. So please memorize this. Unfortunately, you're just going to have to suck it up. Remember, we have our lateral ventricles on the sides that go into the third ventricle in the middle, and then third ventricle, this is the third ventricle, and then it goes through the cerebral aqueduct into the fourth ventricle. So we'll go through the sequence of events again. So you have this chord plexus lining ventricles. It makes CSF. It lines your other ventricles. It makes CSF. CSF is going to flow from the lateral ventricles through the foramen of Monro. Okay, foramen of Monro, which is otherwise named as the interventricular foramen here. The foramen of Monro goes into the third ventricles. And then the third ventricles, CSF goes through the cerebral aqueduct. So we're now in the third ventricle here, and it's going to go through the cerebral aqueduct, okay, into the fourth ventricle. Now the fourth ventricle has multiple holes through which the CSF can flow. There are the two lateral foramen. So the lateral foramen include the foramen of Luschka, both sides. So lateral is Luschka, and then you have the medial foramens, medial foramen of Majandi. Okay, and then so through these three foramen, you're going to get into the subarachnoid space, and then in the subarachnoid space, your CSF returns to venous circulation by being absorbed by arachnoid villi. So this is also important because a lot of times you can get blockage. You can get scarring of the arachnoid villi due to either meningitis or other things, which we might get into. We may not. If you get scarring, then you get poor absorption, then CSF builds up in your ventricles, and that is called hydrocephalus, and we will talk about that in the next section.